Hello everybody, welcome to Zelda Speedruns 3. Today we've got a really exciting match for you. It's a link to the past NMG Tournament 2021 Winners Bracket Round 2 AceZer versus Liam Atlas. Today on comms we've got Clear Mouse and Chex Human. Take it away, guys.
Hello. Hey Chex. How are you doing tonight?
Good, thanks Clear Mouse. I'm excited for another race.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah. So, we're in the, second stage of Winners Bracket. Things are actually, heating up here, right? We got through groups, we got to the first round, and, these are winners facing winners. So, Ace, actually, I think this is his second match. And, he managed to, eke out a win against Scarlet. I think just the other day, this is going to be Liam's first match. And the competition is actually going to be pretty stiff. Right, so these guys are gonna face each other. They're gonna face Buddha in the next round, and just following the chain of potential brackets matches for this chain. You're gonna be facing Matt, and then Chex, you're on the line potentially to face one of these guys.
Is that true?
It is. In fact, it's the Buddha, Matt, Chex, Airy chain. It's really scary. And you are definitely a formidable foe in this branch.
Well, both of these runners are very accomplished runners. They are both sub 130. And this race is getting started at any moment.
Yeah, I took some time to look up their PBs. Looks like Ace recently got his PB just under 130, as you said, 129.34. At least that's according to speedrun.com. Liam looks like he has a PB from a couple months ago, 127. So slightly under 2 minutes separating their PBs, but we've seen lots of upsets. We've seen lots of PBs. We also saw these runners practicing before this very exciting race. Definitely, lots of things can happen, and this race is definitely going to, it can definitely go either way.
Yeah, for sure. So the game begins. Link is getting a telepathic message from Zelda, who's locked away in a cell in Hyrule Castle, and we have to find a way into the castle and rescue her. So we'll be seeing our runners run through the rain, pick up bushes. They'll get a sword and a shield. And there's not too much to talk about in terms of surprises in this segment, but we'll see some minute differences, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what the typical escape time for these guys are. I'm sure, given that they are sub 130 overall, I definitely expect a sub 6 minute escape. My guess is probably around something like 5:55. Yeah, and as you said, there's not too many things I think that can go wrong, at least on the catastrophic level. There are always going to be things that could potentially go wrong, but certainly nothing's going to be too probably like swing towards one racer versus the other.
Yeah, this segment has some RNG that will affect times a little bit by a few seconds. And this game is full of RNG, and we get it right away. So we're approaching our first guard. See how they deal. So that was cool. We had two different strats.
Yeah.
Liam with the 3-slash method, and a more conventional spin from AceZer0187.
Yeah, so far it looks incredibly well synced on both these runner sides.
Yeah.
Second green guard, looks like both runners are able to take them down with the spin. Unfortunately, Ace with the first major super catastrophe, not able to come back from mistake, which it looks like the spin just slightly missed the blue guard, so it's going to lose a little bit of time to Liam, but certainly nothing insurmountable.
Yeah, we get to use the boomerang a little bit in this run. I wish we got to use it a little bit more, but it's funny how we get to use it immediately as soon as we open the chest and reveal it.
Yeah, and speaking of being able to use the boomerang, so I'm actually told that the boomerang is 3 frames faster than swinging a sword. I think it's something like 17 frames versus 20. So we actually did see that Ace did have to unfortunately kind of slash at the guard a couple times in order to get him out of the way. So it's actually just little things here and there. They're going to I guess be at least give Liam a little bit of that much of an extra edge. Looks like because the green guard was more friendly on his side, so didn't have to kind of waste those frames in order to make the dodge.
That's right. And so now Zelda, we are going to escape to the sanctuary, which for some reason is through the sewers. And we have the lamps, and that means we are able to push an ornamental shelf to get there. Both runners making good progress here.
Yeah, and I certainly hope that by the time they get to the throne room, they have very much memorized the text that Zelda tells you. And in fact, she says, "There's a secret passage, behind this throne. Like, help me push it." And if you actually forget that text doesn't show up like ever again. So if you haven't actually figured out how to, in order to get out of the throne room, that is kind of like your one and only shot.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
This game has a lot of strange hidden points that are that are progression. You do get a save and quit point as soon as you touch the side of that ornamental shelf.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you end up dying, which of course we never wish upon these runners, certainly do during escape, you actually do in fact start not necessarily at your house. That's right. The game lets you go a little bit more progress. And unfortunately, we're getting some not friendly rope movement in the sewers. Just like rats, they really just are here just to get in your way. They don't even drop anything friendly for you. Runners are definitely going to try and make their way through escape. They have to kill this key rat. Unfortunately, the key rat didn't behave quite as nicely for Liam there. Unfortunately, had to kind of go pretty far north.
It's funny how that's caused that RNG caused the race to get synced up here. Yeah, Liam got the northwest key rat and another rat in the way. So the boom, of course, when you want it to grab the key, it takes the rupee.
Alright, but safe and sound, Zelda has officially been escorted safely to the sanctuary to talk to the priest, and now we can move on to the next step of our venture, because now the priest is telling us, oh man, thank you so much for rescuing her, but there is such imminent danger that you must reach Sahashala immediately. Please go to Kakariko, and you will find his son, and his son will tell you where Sahashala is located. So that's where we're going, right? We're going to the village?
I can't remember. I know the first dungeon is Eastern Palace. So, yes, we're going to the right. So I assume that is eastward.
Now, typically at this point, Link is supposed to, he has a map that is supposed to show him where everything is. And I don't see these runners doing a map check at all. It's almost as if they know where they're going.
Oh, of course. This run is very well optimized at this point in time. So there's a lot to talk about in terms of the movement in each segment. In terms of from frame to frame even. But there's always something to learn about this game.
I mean, this game is like 30 years old at this point. I mean, and people are still, finding out new techniques, new glitches, and new things to do that still break this game apart or find new tech in order to kind of play around with.
So, our runners are still synced. I missed where Liam found his red rupee, but we can see with his 31 rupee count that he's gained a bit of a rupee advantage here. And so if our runners go for 3 rupees later in the run, they'll need this rupee collection here.
I was so busy. I thought, man, I saw Ace pick up a green rupee, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I caught that. Little did I realize that Liam actually picked up 20 and 21.
Yeah. So, yep.
Yeah, and we did see earlier that both our runners ended up picking up the heart container that was located in Sanctuary. There have been a handful of runners that have opted to skip that, but of course, this being a pretty easy to obtain heart container, especially early on, is a really, really nice safety for these runners to have. And more often than not, runners have thanked Heart in order to so they can keep their run when they only had basically 1 heart remaining at bosses or even on the overworld for that matter.
We're approaching the one of the first enemy skips. This room is intended for us to kill all the enemies, and then the anti-fairies or bubbles depart from the pot that they surround, and then Link can hit a switch. But we can just walk through, take a little bit of damage, and hit the switch. And we were synced going into that room. It looks like AceZer had a bit better movement. Well, we're synced again.
Yeah, and so both runners are also on 1.5 hearts. They're probably not in imminent danger of dying, but we are already kind of coming up with 2 rooms that both have red Igors, and these Igors do 1 heart of damage per piece. So definitely don't want to really take that much more damage if we want to be safe.
Oh yeah.
And also, Liam is like rolling in the dough, on his side. He also got a blue rupee drop from the Pokeys. Addition with the red one, and another blue one too. He won't have any money issues later on. But unfortunately, didn't quite get that last red Igor, so unfortunately the sync is going to no longer be a thing.
Yeah. So there's Liam lets one of the Armos Knights loose a little bit, but cleans it up. This fight normally goes the same every time. There's no RNG in it. So runners will find the setup that they're most comfortable with.
Yeah, of course, the greatest motivation for finishing up Escape and Eastern Palace as quickly as you possibly can is right here on Ace is going to be the first of our 2 runners to get.
The boots, the Pegasus boots.
That's right. And
now we can go fast. We're also seeing Ace go into Sahasrarola's closet here, picking up 100 rupees and 3 bombs. So, these runners are taking different routes to farm rupees, and we'll be seeing Liam getting 3 rupees later.
Is it considered farming rupees, Chucks, if you literally just find them in 2 chests?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the economy in this game is a bit broken, where the most expensive thing is just 500 rupees, and we just need to go into houses on the same screen to earn it. Yeah. So with the boots, we did see a spin speed glitch. Probably one of the strangest or most surprising things about watching a speedrun of A Link to the Past is we get to do this speedy movement. I don't know what you would call it, like in describing it, but it's a glitch that can be performed only on the Japanese 1.0 version, and it involves spinning and hitting A on the very next frame, and then touching a ladder, and then Link can run anywhere at 4 pixels per frame, basically. Up, down, left, diagonally.
Yeah, and of course, it's going to be the same movement speed as if he was just dashing, as we can see. But as you said, if you can nail the spin speed on the stairs, you don't have to wait for the charging the pesky charging times that you need in order to dash normally. Now, of course, we. Oh yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say, so we do see a little bit of time divergence because Ace took the time in order to get the rupees, I guess, like up front, from the back of Sahashi's closet, versus Liam's going to kind of defer his tree rupees until later. And certainly for runners, it's going to be you do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So tree rupees are certainly going to be faster, so we are going to see Liam most likely gain a little bit of time later on. However, getting the 100 rupees and 3 bombs pretty much means that you are just set. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can literally just beat the rest of the dungeons and go straight to Dark World. You don't have to, worry about not getting hit. You are just going to be all set for Palace of Darkness. I think also for bombs too, right? In terms of resources, you don't have to worry about, oh, am I short a bomb here? You've got some extra leeway, for Ice Palace bomb jump and hammer jump and all that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the gap is kind of closing, and we're seeing different room strats from each runner now. With the boots, we have a lot of different movement tech and a lot of different options, especially in this dungeon with its long hallways and such, and puzzles where we have to bonk something off of a torch. There are different ways to do it, different ways to approach these rooms. What I thought was kind of surprising was in the entrance of the dungeon, both runners dashed up instead of to the left. Not sure how common that is, since I'm more familiar with dashing left. So we now have the power gloves. This allows us to get to the back of this dungeon here, and we'll be using it later after this dungeon to get to Death Mountain.
Yeah, so speaking of spin speed, so we did notice that both runners opted to not spin speed, despite the fact that they have boots and there were some stairs that they could activate spin speed on. This is probably one of the screens that you don't often see spin speed from runners, just because when you go fast, even though you get that speed, oh my gosh, dude, did you see it? Liam has another red rupee drop?
Yeah.
Holy cow! All right, I mean, so at this point, he doesn't, man, he is like high roller of high roll. All right, yeah, so to finish my thought about spin speed, is that if you end up going fast, sometimes you can't actually control your speed, and if you end up hopping off accidentally from desert, you're going to have to pretty much do the front of desert all over again for very minimal time save. So
yeah,
it's definitely more peace of mind than anything else that you don't go for that.
So here comes the Land Mola's fight, one of the most difficult fights in the game. I'm watching Liam's fight here to see if we can count cycles if you want to watch Ace's.
Yep, Ace is on second cycle. One Moldorm down, one Lambo down already. 2 down, wow. Alright, Ace needs to be a little bit careful. He's only down to 1 heart. He can't actually get hit by Lambo, but he takes it down. I think that was 4 cycle?
Yeah, Liam's struggling a little bit. Also down to 1 heart at this point.
Yeah, Ace definitely had I would say average-ish start, but definitely really made up a lot of ground though, taking down those Lambo relatively quickly on the second and third phases.
Yeah,
Sickles.
that's nice. Yeah, Liam struggled a bit and then had to play it a little bit scared with that one heart. Of course, I guess they both did.
Yeah, yeah. It actually does look like
tricky.
Yeah, and Liam actually looks like he was down to a half a heart there at the end. So, speaking of, the Sanctuary heart already paying off for both runners, right? If they ended up dying to land mode, that would have been pretty bad.
Oop. So AceZero's setting up for fake flippers now. Sort of a shortcut to the north part of the world. He gets it, and he gets into the whirlpool. That's good. Yeah. And we sometimes have to dodge an enemy that shocks us on the way. And Liam gets it as well.
Yeah, so those buzz blobs don't always I guess cooperate with you. You would actually do see that Liam ended up getting electrocuted. There again, what a jerk. Just really wanting to get in his way.
Yeah, sometimes it's so difficult to hit enemies, but then when you dash, all of a sudden they jump into your path. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen, or at least not in recent history, like a runner having this many rupees as Liam does right now.
Yeah, 69 rupees, very nice. Almost catching up to Ace's count with the
despite
50 rupees.
Yeah, despite not having basically opened up any chests that have rupees in them. Alright, so we do see also Ace getting his spin speed first try, making his way up to Death Mountain. This is one of the times when technically you don't really need it, but it is such an improvement on your quality of life that you really don't want to be, the less time you spend with boulders and dead rocks, the better.
Mm-hmm. And AceZero turning off the spin speed right before entering the warp allows him to get a quick warp. That is cutting the warp time down by 34 frames, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, if you don't know what quick warps are, it's I was also very surprised they even exist to begin with in this game. But so basically, if you end up standing on the right tile, on the correct tiles, when you mirror from a dark world to light world or vice versa, sometimes you just get these free quick warps. Some of them are more easily accessible than others.
Yeah, at this skill level, finding ways to save half a second is kind of an important thing. It kind of depends on the screen and the difficulty, but learning these setups is definitely something these runners will do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not really much you can do to save time in this particular room. I'm pretty sure this is like the one room that everyone wants to speed up.
Yeah. The tile room, the door will not open until the tiles disappear.
It is. On the other hand, though, right? You do get a small break. You just try to take down Landmo is a very difficult boss, right? And now at least you get a bit of a break. And speaking of lack of breaks for Ace's side, he's getting all of these drops not in his way, right? We actually did see that the beetle ended up dropping 5 arrows for him, and you can never have enough arrows in this game. But it's like, geez, like you couldn't even get them because they're just so far out.
Yeah, that's a very typical spot to miss that valuable drop. So, and a little shortcut is taken here to get the Moon Pearl. A very nice bomb jump from AceZero. And Liam's approaching it now.
Unfortunately, Ace tried to do a skip of the bumper on the next floor up, but unfortunately didn't quite get it, so he's gonna have to try again. It's bad. All right. So second try is just as good as the first try, of course. We're just gonna opt to not the first time.
Liam gets the all-important bumper skip there. There's only 4 pixels on which we can skip that bumper, I believe. All right, the Moldorm fight, an infamous, very random and chaotic fight, especially at this stage of the game. So Ace is chasing down the 6th hit, and he gets it. That's good.
Oh yeah.
And Liam takes down Moldorm pretty quickly, so gaining time here. Wow.
Yeah, this is definitely really fortunate fights for both of our runners. Moldorm did not end up knocking them down any number of stories, so it's always a good sign. I was actually a little bit concerned because on Liam's side, at least he ended up not flipping the blue switch. It can save. Typically, you don't, when you're trying for PBs, but of course, for races, if you ever get knocked down and you're short on hearts, if you don't have the switch, you're gonna have to go back to that fight, starting at a disadvantage.
So, there, like we mentioned, arrows are valuable. There are opportunities, like in this cave, to pick up 5 more, but our runners feel secure in their accounts and did not need to go for that. It's a little slow.
Yeah, and so we're actually going to see the early rupee farming pick up on Ace's side a little bit and save him a little bit of time here versus Liam. Liam's he's actually dashing in order to try and kill a certain number of enemies. In this case, he's going to try and kill 4 enemies without taking damage. In order to get his remaining rupees that he needs for pod, and the fact that he has 74 right now, it basically just means that he needs to pick up like 2 more, and he should be good.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky route because we have to avoid damage all the way until the tree pull. So between the blue rupee pull and the red rupee pull, Link cannot take damage.
Now, so given the fact that we are in Lost Woods, right? We've been here, we have access to this, since pretty much the beginning of the game. There is literally very few things that could hurt us. So you think, oh, not taking damage, that should be easy, right? You'd be surprised on how many ambushes and sabotages there are hiding under these bushes that just ruins your day.
Yeah. So. Looking good for Liam. He's pulling the tree now. And there's his he only picked up 40 of them.
That's right. Not even picking up 3. He only needs half of them. I mean, that is, Liam really knows how to manage this with money and get everything that he can from the Hyrule enemies.
Yeah, so another great thing about not taking damage in this part is that we preserve sword beams for Aghanim's tower. Ace dealt with a bonk there, which got him a bit trapped, but Liam, we may be seeing some beam strats here.
Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't actually quite see what happened on Ace's side. It looks like maybe he wasn't as far left as he probably should have been, because he ended up getting a clink from the guards. All right, so this is probably one of the most important rooms you have that you want sword beams for, and you actually see that Ace is trying his best in this case to kill these guards, with the dashes instead of actually slashing. We did see that successfully done on Liam's side, and we actually did see a heart drop coming from one of the blue guards. This is a little bit dangerous. We're gonna hope that when Ace reaches the Palace Darkness, that when he kills a mini Helmasaur, that he is not going to drop anything. So the important part is this is all planning. It is that we have I guess two things. So if you kill an enemy that's dashing, you actually won't advance the prize pack. And the other thing is that for some reason, these running blue guards, the mini Helmosaurs, and Pokies, all the way in the last dungeon of the game, Turtle Rock, are all connected for prize packs. So we actually want to preserve the last prize of the pack, which is in this case the fairy, or like the one that we want at least. We want to be able to,
drop.
yeah, we want that in Turtle Rock. So the fact that we're seeing the heart drop early is a little bit nervousness, but it definitely doesn't mean that Ace can't get the fairy. It just might come a little bit earlier than he wants.
Yeah. So all these rooms are very technical, and they can go wrong very easily. So, and we're coming up. Both runners are dealing with Circle of Pots, and having.
Oh no!
It's just not going right. But ideally, we would have seen Link throw the boomerang to pick up the key from outside of the circle. But the enemies get in your way, and then it's just a mess.
Yeah, it seems like both these runners are more than ready to make it to Dark World now.
Oh yeah, who isn't? So now we're approaching Aghanim, which is another infamous boss. This time, it's not RNG that makes it difficult. It's just RNG that is the fight. And there's nothing we can do to control it. So we'll be watching to see if there's any variation between our runners' times. They'll get random number of blue shots fired at them. So we'll be counting these blue balls to see if there's a great time difference here.
Yeah, the most important thing about this fight is don't miss the energy shots because you will be 6 seconds sadder every single time that you do.
Right, and then if we get a third shot, we get a lightning cycle, which is another 6 seconds wasted.
I think I counted 1 on Ace's side for blue balls. It might have been 2, but he is going to be the first 2 runners who is going to make it to Dark World. Liam looks like he's having a bit less good luck on his side.
Yeah, this is probably 3. I didn't count them all, but it has to be 3 since he got a lightning cycle and then he's done. So that's 3. So a difference of 18 seconds, I believe, in terms of just the RNG of blue balls. There's a little bit of time difference in Aghanim's warps, which can be slightly diminished, but it's not as notable.
All right, Ace didn't make his way into Palace of Darkness. Fortunately, didn't quite get that spin speed, but it's not going to be the end of the world. He's just going to be taking a couple more frames in order to charge up his dashes on his way out. Looks like same case actually for Liam, but Liam is hot on Ace's heels, so he's going to also make it to the Palace of Darkness shortly. Oh, those are some pretty nasty bombs that basically just got in his way, so couldn't continue his dashes like he wanted to.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's rare, but that can be pretty annoying. All right, so, Palace of Darkness. We're collecting keys now. This dungeon is front-loaded with keys. And then we'll be collecting the magic hammer after that.
Yeah, so we are actually going to come up with one of those places where you have a couple more bombs. It's going to give you a bit more leeway in terms of your resources, which is we're going to basically bomb jump our way over to the magic hammer is going to save us quite a bit of time if we can do that correctly.
Yeah, hammer jump is one of 2 especially difficult bomb jumps, and it's 2 pixel perfect placements. Basically, Link has to be on 2 exact Y coordinates. So we'll see how that goes. It competes with Ice Palace as one of the 2 difficult.
No.
Uh-oh.
All right, so this actually looks like an early mirror. Unfortunately, has kind of turned the tide for Liam Atlas, potentially. I'm sure Ace does realize that you actually want to open the chest and get the big key before mirroring.
Yeah, this happens sometimes.
It does.
I don't know, what kind of trick your brain is pulling when it tells you to press the Y button instead of the A button, but it's not uncommon.
No, and of course, this is a race setting, right? You're trying to go as fast as you can. Chances are you probably thought you opened the chest. You may or may not did, but you definitely mirrored.
Yeah. And we're watching Liam set up for a bomb jump here, and AceZer as well.
Yeah, that was a really nice
kind
hammer
of
jump on Liam's side there.
Yeah.
Gets it first try. I think no extra buffers, if I'm not mistaken. Oh wow, and that was also a really nice hammer jump from Ace as well.
Yeah, that was great. A bit of a relief when that goes well, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was actually just gonna say, and especially actually on Ace's side, so we actually saw him near early, before he picked up the big key, and sometimes mistakes that are considered more catastrophic than others, that can really tilt runners. And I'm really actually good to see that Ace basically just went straight back and just focused on this game and managed to get hammer on first try.
Mm-hmm. This mimics room is a bit difficult. Nice strat from Liam, 1 up. And looks like AceZer using approximately the same strat. 1 up, 1 left and right, 1 up again.
Yeah, that was also a nice recovery on the mimics for Ace, because the mimics ended up firing towards him at the bottom or at the top, and I actually didn't think that the arrow was actually going to hit the last minute, but it ended up hitting. So so it was very well done.
Yeah. If your setup is messed up, the thing about mimics is you can manipulate them as well as you can manipulate Link, basically. So they have a pretty fast running speed too, where they can kind of catch up to your arrow shot.
I have heard that mimics do move similarly, or maybe the opposite of what Link does.
Yeah, that's why we call them mimics for shorthand.
Yeah.
I believe they are officially called gorillas, like the enemy in Zelda 1 that throws boomerangs. But they don't have boomerangs in this game.
Yeah, have you ever tried throwing a boomerang at a mimic? Maybe, we just needed to throw one in order for them to be throwing one as well.
Oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. Right, we're seeing a sword out strat from Liam as he tries to hammer Helmasaur. In fact, both of the runners are doing it. This is the classic strat, and they both take down Helmasaur. Still neck and neck. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, so like for Helmasaur, this is actually one of the places where people actually really want to pick up Sanctuary Heart. It turns out in this case, neither runner needed it at this specific boss fight, but Helma is definitely known for ending runs here in the Dark World. And part of the reason is that we actually, going into the fight, we actually had 7 hearts with the second heart, and Helmasaur, every hit that we saw ends up doing 2 hearts of damage. So by having that 7th heart, you end up getting yourself an additional 1 extra hit of safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for every I don't know how often it is, but every chance, every cycle, basically Helmasaur has a 1/2 chance of firing fireballs. So now we're on the pod overworld screen in the Thieves Town segment. This screen, for some reason, it's set up to give you 3 chances at taking damage, basically. So with bad RNG, Link could get hit by the Ropas and take 2 hearts of damage there. But it went well for both players. We're also able to use another 1.0 exclusive glitch, an item dash with the hammer. So a hammer dash through the hammer peg bridge, which saves a little bit of time over every other version.
Yeah, and so speaking of quick warps from all the way from Tower of Hera, we're actually going to potentially come up for another one. So we actually see both runners picking up the shovel from the lost boy who somehow stumbled his way upon to the Dark World, and they're going to try and mirror at a very specific spot in order to save their 34 frames. I think I saw Ace get it. I actually did not see if Liam got his.
I just missed it, yeah.
For a race this close, basically, you know, every frame, every second that you can save is definitely going to be to your advantage.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Liam had a little bit of trouble with spin speed on this screen. We call it Usain Bolt, and not getting spin speed there is a bit of a time loss. We lose a few seconds having to battle the red guard.
Yeah, and Liam certainly did well to not try and dash in the presence or being so close to that red guard, because that guy is super fast. You try and dash, he will basically just run right over.
Right. And we did see Liam try to correct spin speed by facing left or right. That actually cannot be done on a ladder because there are walls to the left and right. We have to not face a wall while trying to arm spin speed. So it got a little bit out of hand, unfortunately.
All right, so the important part is we are completely past that screen, so on to the next set of screens where, oh man, that is some unfortunate luck there on Liam's side. So right, you can get sabotaged and bamboozled by these bush, I guess, skulls in the Dark Worlds. They just really want they're just there to mess up your day. Can't dash, you know, if you end up dashing, you bonk, and if you don't dash, then you basically just get damaged.
It's one of the most startling things when we're mid dash and have to suddenly bonk because of the silly bushes and sometimes the grass tiles.
Yeah, I forgot about the grass. Everything in this world is just trying to kill you. But at least, Liam got some good pink Zizak luck when he tried to jump down from the upper floor to the bottom here in Thieves Town. Sometimes that pink Zizak is just in your way for no reason, and you just lose 2 hearts.
Yep. And the most troubling RNG in this segment is right here for Ace. He's in the Hellway and makes it through with not too much trouble at all. Just a couple of dashes and he's through.
Yeah, no damage taken, which was really nice. This is one of those places where if something goes wrong, like we're kind of so mad. As Liam just weaved his way through that hallway, you can take damage pretty quickly there, and kind of not realize until you're on like one heart, and then you panic, and then you hope you don't die.
Yeah, losing a lot of time in the meantime. But yeah, Liam had to take it slow and did a good job keeping it together there.
All right, both runners definitely taking the time to make sure that the bomb does explode and in fact opens up the pit so we can get some sunlight after we rescue the maiden from this dungeon. If you if you don't realize that the bomb
We're
didn't
redesigning
explode,
the dungeon.
yeah. If you don't realize that the bomb didn't explode, and then you come all the way down here to rescue, I guess, another Princess Zelda, and then you get it all the way to the boss room, you're gonna be in for a sad time.
Exactly. And nice arrow drop on Liam's side, taking him up to 11. Zazek dropped some arrows right on him. That was nice. And Ace picks up the Titan's Mitts, which we'll be using right after this segment.
Yeah,
pick up heavy rocks.
And Ace using those sword beams to his advantage. You know, so not often you get to keep beams here, but he, made sure that he didn't want to get electrocuted or interrupted in his dashing. So he took advantage and was able to beam his way, to kill that Bari before the Bari got to it.
Yeah, beams are especially nice at getting things out of your way in this game. And Ace is on the blind fight. This is a so-called scripted fight where it has 3 phases and Link can move the same way in every phase. And yeah, he follows it according to the script, gets the fight done.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we see a full set of hearts on AceZero's side, which means he basically took no damage from during his entire time, basically for the split, which is not often seen. Liam having just as good as a blind fight on his side, also following the script. He takes it down, and they will both be moving forward. This is one of those fights where if you do the right thing, it looks, it looks actually pretty straightforward. I think I could do this. And then if you go off script and you end up not succeeding the first time, the refights, any number thereof, is going to be actually extremely difficult because you, on the scripted fight, you get to start at the top, on top of blind, or above blind. On the refights, you are starting from the bottom of the screen, and therefore you have to dodge all of his fireballs and beams and his movement for real. And that's it's incredibly dangerous when everything basically does 1 heart of damage to you.
Right. And yeah, there are, so the No Major Glitches speedrun is meant to be very, it's meant to have natural gameplay for the most part, like a casual playthrough in a sense, where it doesn't we're not going out of bounds or skipping any dungeons or things like that. But there are things that are like quite a bit different from a casual run, and the blind fight is a good example of one, since in a casual playthrough it's very chaotic and it's very nerve-wracking, but speedrunners have learned a way to do it the same way every time, ideally. When things go right.
Well, if it's one thing that speedrunners know how to do is to practice, the same screen over and over and get it right.
And so with the Titan's Mitts, we've saved a frog and returned it to the light world, where it actually is a blacksmith. And as a return favor, we get the Master Sword tempered, and now it deals a great amount of damage, and we save somewhere around 20 seconds in the speedrun optimally, but it makes the speedrun a lot faster, and I mean, it's a lot easier, and as a result, it's always much faster.
Yeah, anytime you can improve consistency and comfort, that is definitely it is worth more than the actual time save that you have, because it also reduces the amount of stress and tilt that you have also in the run.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever wonder, Chex, though? So we've rescued basically. So we talked to the lost boy, right, who made his world way into Dark World, and now we rescued the frog. Are there people that also make it to the Dark World that we don't know about, but they just don't give us anything? Is that why we don't rescue them?
Oh, right. I don't know the population increases and decreases of each world. But yeah, it is interesting. I do wish there was a little bit more lore about that. Oof, we're blocked by one of those skulls on Ace's side. That causes a lot of trouble since we're surrounded by the Ropa. And we're using a bomb jump to take a shortcut to the fire rod. And we have seen both of our runners use the same setup, like we saw in Hera. They place a bomb and then they charge a sword to release a spin near the edge of a pit. And they can then return to stable flooring at the very last pixel, and this makes it an always safe pixel for bomb jumping.
Oh, cool. This bomb jump, just like the one that we saw in Tower of Hera, does also save quite a bit of time. If you've actually played this game casually, the way that the game intends you to do it is actually drop down from somewhere else in Skullwoods and then hold the switch to go through, basically explode the northern wall, essentially, for you to get the chest from the north. But of course, we're speedrunners. If you can get that bomb jump, you don't have to go through any amount of animation and basically take a long detour.
Yeah, and not so long. According to Serious Chord, it saves less than 10 seconds, 8 seconds.
That's half the time the temper source saves us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ace is going to go down this fight with probably less than the number of ideal health, but of course, as long as don't get hit, we should be good fighting him off. Just like that, taking no damage, health is not an issue whatsoever, takes down Moth, just like also Liam Atlas, having pretty safe and distant Moth fights for both.
Yeah, this fight can easily get out of hand after the first 10 seconds of it, because the spikes come out of the walls, and it's just completely random. But both runners took care of the Moth pretty handily. I think Liam may have caught up a little bit on that segment.
I actually don't remember who was slightly ahead going into this segment. I mean, these guys have been neck and neck basically throughout the entire 50 minutes that we've seen.
Yeah. And now that we're out of the Skullwoods, we are off to the next segment, Ice Palace. And we need to collect a couple of items before doing that. And we are fluting to 4 on AceZero's side. And I believe we have Ace's audio as well. We may have heard a flute before his transition, which calls the bird. But the bird doesn't come at that point. Ace actually is setting up for a 4-frame maximum time save later. But we'll see more of that trick that involves the bird, the duck, a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh man. So you know, you were speaking of that segment in Palace of Darkness where you said the game gives you 3 opportunities to take damage for no reason. So
Ooh,
unfortunately,
yeah.
Ace, yeah, also got pretty unlucky here on this segment because he ended up trying to dash through that ropa, but didn't quite succeed. Ended up taking 2 hearts of damage. This is one of
Yeah.
those segments that you really want to keep your sword beams for, especially early on Ice Palace. It typically saves you know, pretty significant amount of time otherwise.
Yeah, and to try to make it up, we're seeing Ace search for hearts, and he's doing the right thing. He's picking up, you know, he picked up a bush. It had no heart, but he could use it to throw into the circle. He picked up a rock, also no luck. So just losing 50-50s just to get his hearts back, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you know, if you end up getting hit by like a Zora or like a fireball, it's, you know, definitely easier to recover from, mainly because you just need 1 heart. But getting hit by that robot, it, you know, puts you down to 2 hearts, so it's even harder in order to get your beams back in that case.
Yeah, and now Liam has caught up at Zora. We're both players are earning their flippers, and we're
Yeah, of course.
kind of like screen for screen here.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the Galaxy Brain, you know, play on A0 side would have been to pick up 3 extra heart pieces so he can pick up that 4th one on Zora Ledge in order to get him back to
Ooh.
full health.
I like it. Creative.
Oh no! Oh no! That is the opposite of what we wanted to happen. Oh crap.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the trouble with this game is engaging in combat is just it's going to get a little hectic. It's just hard to control. But crabs have a chance at dropping hearts, and that's why we were after them. So Ace had to use a fire rod shot to take care of the enemies, the Baris, whereas Liam's sword beams killed them a bit faster.
Yeah, this is gonna be. We're actually gonna see some. Assuming Liam can keep his sword beams, we're gonna see some pretty different movements in terms of these rooms. Just because we'll be able to see the advantage that sword beams give you. Basically, every room that has Baris, well, minus this one, Baris and conveyor belts especially, is going to really makes you want sword beams for this.
Yeah, and of course they shock Liam, so now Liam's lost his beams. Yeah, this is the story of A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Baris are the low-key worst enemy in the game.
Oh, Ace almost got electrocuted there as well. Just slashed right, just far enough away where he didn't end up having to get hurt.
And a nice setup for Liam, dashing all the way across the conveyor room. All right, we're seeing the Ice Palace bomb jump from both runners. They both get across at the exact same time.
Yeah, dude, the syncing is quite amazing.
And the
did he just pick up a
lower
spot? Yeah, from like the bottom.
Pickup.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, we've seen it. I think a couple times this tournament at least. It's a very risky. So we're talking about AceZero's screen here. He picked up the pot from below. If he doesn't pick up the pot, he's gonna fall. So, and another nice strat here. The stair clip, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're calling it exactly, but he spun to clip through the stairs. And I think the optimal movement is to walk when you land on the right side. I'm not sure. We saw Ace dash it.
Yeah, I think what happens is, or at least what I've been told is, if you land on the right side, you walk, and if you land on the left side, then you dash. And it's if you land on the right side and you dash, it's no slower than what you already would have done before. But if you land on the left side, it's on the right side, it's faster.
And on the left side, we lose a heart.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
We're at Cold Stare.
Yes.
Both fights get we've let the puffs go. Ace is, yeah, both runners take care of the puffs, and they kill Cold Stare.
Yeah.
That got a little scary because we almost died.
Yeah. We almost died closer on AceZero side than on Liam's side. At least so Cold Stare does 4 hearts of damage, and the Falling Icicles do 2 hearts of damage. So I think Liam came in with 5 hearts. So he did have a little bit more of a buffer because he took 1 hit. Ace, on the other hand, came in with less than 4. So in this case, it was definitely 1-hit KO mode on his side. So I'm really glad to see that he did not die. Dying to Cold Stare, especially at this point in the stage, not only the fact that these guys are basically synced, right? It is a multiple minute time loss because you have to basically go back and redo this palace, and you have to get more magic.
Yeah, and Ace did a great job keeping it together this segment, running through it just without any problems after the overworld mishaps. Now that overworld mishap at the very beginning, led to loss of hearts, but it did not, it didn't cascade. There was not much of an effect on the dungeon itself, so that was great. And things can really go haywire if one thing is, if it started incorrectly, but we're fine.
That's right. Yeah, and also, speaking of tilt, Ace also kind of suffered an early mishap in Palace of Darkness, where he ended up mirroring out a bit earlier when he's trying to get the big key. So the fact that Ace is basically just all keeping it together, right? Is certainly a testament to the fact that he's just very, very, very level-headed about all of this.
Yeah. Now we are seeing Liam pick up the Ether Medallion at this point. There are 2 items at this stage of the game that we have to find: the Ether Medallion and the Ice Rod. And it's up to the runner's comfort where they want to collect these items. And this is an interesting route from Liam, collecting the Mire Medallion in the swamp segment. And it looks like, I didn't see how, but Liam is 4 hearts down already. And it's great that we are losing those hearts in this segment and not in Mire.
That's right. So if so half those hearts, 2 hearts, were attributed to Death Mountain, a very apt name. He ended up getting hit by a boulder, and he got kind of sniped by one of the tech types, the jumping guys, and then he got bombed by one of the bombers on his way to swamp. So
of course. Yeah, that's not super common in this category, but it does happen. Yeah, those do 2 hearts of damage, of course.
Yeah, and of course, the good news is that, Swamp being the second crystal dungeon in the vanilla game, so you are expected to come here sooner rather than later, means that it's not going to be, as dangerous of a dungeon in terms of death and the potential to basically, die within 1 hit or 2. Now, of course, that being said, we just see this dungeon living up to its reputation, where instead of just hitting you like a truck for everything, it kind of nickels and dimes you. 1 heart here, half a heart there, and before you know it, Liam is already down to 5 hearts.
Yeah. So hopefully we won't. Yeah. Hopefully we won't see too much more damage here, because Liam cannot afford it. So on Ace's side, he's approaching the big key of the dungeon, which requires a bit of a puzzle involving pegs and switches and levers and drop downs.
Yeah, one of the best places that everyone loves to come to, whether it's NMG, whether it's Randomizer, everyone loves Left Side Swamp. Without
the the struggle that I have faced here is just remembering to hit the crystal switch so that the pegs are in the proper position for dropping down. And if one were hypothetically to forget to hit that switch, it would cost over a minute to go back and hit it again.
Oh man, that is
Hypothetically.
I'm sure you never timed it before, right, Chucks? This is all hypothetical.
No, I have not really. Ace is in a kind of difficult room, already getting shocked. It's very difficult to do this room optimally. And it's called hook. Gosh, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called hook dash.
Hook dashing? Yeah, item dashing with hook shot, right?
Yeah, the room begins with a hook dash. We're hitting Y and A on the same frame to hook to a statue, or to hook to a pot. And for some reason, it puts Link into a state that makes it easy to pick up pots. For some reason, after pushing a statue upwards, Link can reach around the statue and pick up a pot. For some reason, we want to be in the hook speed state for that.
I guess if you're going to do anything really well as Link, it's going to be picking up pots, right? Since there's so many in the game.
I mean, that's Link's favorite thing to do, is pick up and break pots. All right, so we're at Argus. Ace takes care of the first phase and is using sword spins to take care of the second phase. So with Tempered Sword, it's a huge time save. Well, it's normally a lot faster anyway.
Yeah, I didn't actually see if Ace decided to try for a zero cycle Argus, but I ended up basically slashing at the end. I'm also not sure if the movement was good enough for that. Meanwhile, on Liam's side, so he was actually down to 3 hearts before trying to take on Argus. We did see him pick up a couple of safety hearts. You definitely don't want to die here. And Argus will do 2 hearts of damage, so it's definitely very important that we at least have some buffer on our side.
Yeah, nice and easy hook and slash method from Liam. Also using spins to clean it up.
Yeah, so two spins certainly is the most reliable way to do phase 2, because it just takes 2 either way. There is the strat sometimes when people decide to fire rod twice and then do a spin, but if you end up missing those fire rod shots, you're basically going to suffer another cycle. So just for consistency and comfort, people are more than willing to basically do 2 spins instead of 1 spin plus 2 shots.
For sure. Yeah, so Ace has the hook here, so we can use hook speed this time to get hook speed, just like spin speed. But the menu cost is a factor, so we're really only saving 20 frames by having the hook here. But it is more fun, in my opinion. Because the tech is a little bit different, and it reduces by 1 a spin speed that we have to do, which is, in my opinion, much harder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so just like button pressing wise and execution, like the hook speed is easier to achieve, right, than spin speed.
Right, and Ace is doing both of those item pickups in this segment, both Ether and Ice Rod. So Liam gets to Misery Mire first, but I believe Liam still needs to pick up Ice Rod later after this.
And unfortunately, I didn't catch where Ace ended up losing his heart. We're actually going to see another reason why we want to keep beams on the Atlas side for Meyer too. The fact that we have beams means that we can basically projectile our way through that room and take down all the enemies significantly faster. So versus Ace, it looks like he is going to have to improvise a little bit.
And Liam had a very minor advantage not having the Ice Rod by menuing only one time from Ether to Fire Rod, whereas Ace menus 2 times. In other words, 2 left taps just to get to Fire Rod. Not a big difference in my opinion, but something that, the runners might consider when choosing their item routes. And I wasn't watching specifically, but it's likely that both runners, after fluting to 6, picked up the rock that hides the warp portal from below, and this sets up a particular altitude variable that the duck has. And for some reason, this is sort of shared with the fire rod in a room later, which will be used to hit some crystals, which is very early and from very far away. So we're calling that glitch Spooky Action at a Distance. Shout outs to Pinkus for that name. And we'll see how that goes later. In the meantime, the runners have picked up the big key, and they're off to pick up the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, this dungeon pretty much is just, if you can hit something from afar, you should, right? We saw we want to keep beams for the first kill room in Meyer. If we can do that, we're trying to do spooky action here. We'll see very shortly, hopefully in the basement. And we picked up the Cane of Samaria, where if we place a block and then explode it, it can basically just act as another projectile.
Yeah, these rooms are going pretty smoothly for the runners.
Mm-hmm. And we also did see Liam kind of take care and be a bit more conservative, walking up to the Wizrow instead of dashing or potentially even hooking a pot to get him there slightly faster. This is the 6th dungeon of the game, and of course, the 5th dungeon, which is Ice Palace that we've already beaten, its dungeon prize is the blue mail, which essentially halves all the damage. So by this point, the game is expecting you to have that. So it definitely ramps up the difficulty and the amount of damage that all the enemies do. Those Wizrobes do 4 hearts of damage, and we really want to keep as much health as we can going into Vitrious.
Yeah, and we are seeing some successful spooky action from Liam. There will be 3 rooms where he can use this, and all 3 were successful. It was a bit tricky to set up for him. We saw him have to kind of walk around the switch to kind of approach it from the right angle. And it looks like Ace has got it too. And we're at the Vitrious Fight. And it's getting a little scary. We're 1 hit away from death at these eyeballs. But it looks like we're fine. Liam got a few extra cycles, but takes Vitrious down.
The important part is we didn't die. That's probably the most important part when fighting Vitrious. Alright, Ace coming into his Vitrious Fight. He's actually got quite a good amount of health to spare. Hopefully this will also go just as well. Okay.
Yeah, we just got 1 extra cycle for Ace. 1 cycle, which it seemed like one of the eyeballs was kind of wiggling unpredictably for him, but he cleaned it up.
Yeah, so just like most other things in this dungeon, everything here does do 4 hearts of damage if you end up getting hurt, so we definitely want to avoid that. However, we actually did see that the goo surrounding Vitrious and all of the eyes only does 1 heart of damage. So you should see that runners both try to basically damage boost their way through in order to take 1 heart of damage, get some iframes, and then spin their sword in order to try and kill as many eyeballs as you can. It's not, it does have a little bit of RNG in that, the eyeballs don't always have to cooperate with you to get hit. But you can usually, get most of them in the 3 spins that you need. And then you have some arrows to clean up the rest of them.
Okay. And the crab got in Liam's way, but thankfully he had an extra bomb to use on the wall, his last bomb. So, Ace comes out ahead going into Turtle Rock since Liam had to pick up the ice rod. And so now Ace is on the Death Mountain screens going to Turtle Rock, and the dead rocks are seriously difficult and chaotic in this segment.
I don't know if Ace would believe you, Chucks. He took no damage from that entire screen.
You're right. I don't know what I'm afraid of. He's got it all under control. And does get hit by a Moldworm, which is a little surprising.
Yeah, makes his way past the dead rocks, past all the boulders, that's something you can't control, and then, gets into this cave where you seek solace, and yet Mini Moldworms does take revenge on his fellow wildlife.
Yeah. I haven't mentioned it this run, but Mini Moldworms are also chaotic, unpredictable, and difficult.
Oh, we definitely didn't see any of that when we were in Tower of Hera. Yeah, I'm certainly glad that Liam Atlas ended up getting his bomb, or using his last bomb to be able to successfully open up the Ice Rod Cave. For what it's worth, if he was not aware of this, there is actually a 50-50 rock that you can lift up in order to get a bomb on the same screen. So he wasn't completely dead in the water if that bomb, for some reason, didn't succeed in opening the cave.
Exactly. And yeah, it's really helpful to know these kinds of backups, especially in a race situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize this. So unfortunately, Ace lost his sword beams before he ended up entering Turtle Rock, but Liam had the fortune of having all of his hearts, so he was actually able to use the sword beams to beam the Bari from afar. So there was no chance he was going to get knocked off from the conveyor belts or the platform.
Ooh.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty scary.
Yeah, the roller room didn't go well for Liam, and took too much damage there. But he did get the small key, so it's fine. And I missed the Chain Chomp's room, but it seemed to work smoothly enough. Ace comes out with full health, and this is after collecting a fairy drop.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was Ace we were concerned about, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly correct. So we do see the heart drop on Liam's side, which means the next potential drop for him is going to be a fairy, so long as the Pokies cooperate.
Ooh, they did cooperate well enough. It's just opening the chest that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Really. We saw a puff of dust. Which could have made
seems like seems like this is the hardest challenge of this game for both these runners, is to open chests before they have to go do something else.
Yeah, we're also seeing Liam slightly low on arrows. Both runners picked up the arrow pot in this dungeon. But we should be fine later.
Oh no! Yeah, both runners ended up kind of getting interference with the Stalfo's head, unfortunately, and then kind of resulted in some bunny beams.
Yeah, pretty similar situation. Liam gets through without too much of a chase, and AceZer is at Pokies 2. One spin ends up being a little too close, and he takes some damage from a pokey. So Ace is taking care to get a couple extra hearts.
Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, Ace already had his fairy, so he's not going to have any more health refill. Maybe minus that one heart at the very end before Trinex if he wants it. Liam, unfortunately, didn't get the fairy drop from the key pokey, so hopefully we're going to get something here, which he does get, which is definitely a really nice solace in Turtle Rock. So assuming he can keep his beans for that room, the crystal roller room that Ace just went through, he can probably save about half a second here over using the Cane of Samaria.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, Liam got all 4 drops from that room, going all the way from fairy to the bomb drop, or the rupee. So that was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Liam has pretty much like all of the luck, for getting all of the drops, right? For this game in terms of money, in terms of fairies, probably enough luck, for him and like the next 10 runners or something.
Seems so. Oh, there's Ace's fairy.
Whoa! Did he just
Wait
get
a
another
second.
fairy? Because he definitely got one in the first pokey.
Yeah, I guess it looped around. I didn't see.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought Ace is gonna have to be a little bit more careful because he's not gonna get any more health, but that fairy just basically really just gave him so much more cushion for this fight.
A nice Trinex phase 1 for Ace. Takes down the Ice Head and the Fire Head. Liam right behind. And nice phase 2.
Yeah, that's really
Trinex
cool
doesn't
fight.
make it to the wall.
We do see both runners doing backdoor strats. If done properly, guarantees a 1 cycle here from Trinex. Hopefully Liam will have just as good a phase 2 than Ace.
Yeah, and Liam kills Trinex in basically the exact same position. Mm-hmm. We saw a slightly different movement where Ace slashed to the right to kill Trinex. Liam moved up and slashed down. It's great to see the runners this close going into Ganon's tower.
Ganon's Tower, of course, being a super stable segment. Nothing has ever gone wrong in this segment for any runner whatsoever.
It is one of the most fun segments. It's got everything. Might be the best dungeon. It might be the best dungeon in the entire Zelda series.
Whoa, those are some pretty bold words, Jax.
It's got combat. It's got puzzles. They are they're sequenced after one another and very interesting, very fun way.
There are definitely a good number of screens where if you are well practiced, it is highly rewarding in order to do those rooms correctly. Alright, so we're coming up here. AceZer, the first of our 2 runners, entering GT. We see him skip the small key on the torch, so it sounds like he is going to get one of the 2 small keys in upper GT. So there are 3 small keys that you can get in Ganon's Tower at the runner's discretion. One on the torch is by far the safest, but it's also the slowest because you have to bonk the torch and then wait for the item to drop versus maybe opening a chest or killing an enemy in your path. However, if you're concerned about consistency, if you're worried about health, it's really not that much of a time loss in order to get the small key, which we saw Liam did. So once he has it, he has peace of mind. He can just concentrate on execution and combat and solving puzzles in GT.
Fire Snake room goes smoothly for Ace. Yeah, the combination of boomerang and hook is pretty fun. Link kind of hooks through a peg just as it appears.
Wow, that on Ace's side, that mini Helmasaur was like gunning for him. Like, I mean, good thing the bonk went off sooner. Otherwise, I really thought he was getting knocked off. How did Ace end up with 30 arrows before this fight?
Didn't catch it exactly, but
Yeah.
nice Ice Armor's fight.
With so many arrows to spare, it looks like I'm not even sure if he's gonna get. Yeah, so normally what happens is because you don't have 30 arrows going into Ice Armos and you spend 18 of them, which is probably what's gonna happen often here, likely here on Liam's side, is once you finish this fight, you're going to pick up the left chest in the big key room in order to replenish your arrows for this next set of mimics. But Ace, having plentiful arrows, doesn't even need that chest, saving himself a little bit of time.
Liam lost a bit of time on Ice Armos and used his last arrow as they did get a bit out of hand. It seemed to be sort of a stray movement for him. Otherwise, it would have been fine. Stray input or something along those lines. But before the fight, he did get an extra 5 arrows just in case. And that was the perfect backup that he needed that. At that moment. So, yeah, not losing too much time there. Could have been worse. Of course, in this game, it always can be worse. Okay, Ace is in the gauntlet. We have 5 rooms of combat in a row. Gets through G2 without any problems. G3, very good RNG and great dash to yeah.
Yeah,
it's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, we're taking a break from puzzle solving, straight into incredibly difficult combat. Yeah, unfortunately, Liam actually just also run out of arrows. It's not going to be the end of the world for him, right? You actually see him picking up, another 5 pot. Oh, potentially getting another drop. Having some projectiles here would also be really nice to kill the Stalfos.
Yeah, Liam's having a bit more difficulty in challenging rooms of the gauntlet. So Ace has a considerable advantage as we approach the top of Ganon's tower.
Yeah, so we did see basically 5 gauntlet rooms just to try and kill the enemies as fast as possible. We did actually see some nice boost ropes room. On AceZero's side, I almost would consider those rooms to be somewhat more puzzle, just because that if you place a Kina Samaria block down at just the right place, you end up killing all the Wiz ropes in one shot. Definitely different than the chase around Zyzax on conveyor belts and try and kill them as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, and it has an invisible floor that we kind of memorize the movement, get around. We don't use the ether to kind of light it up and see how we're supposed to do it, but
I want to have a medallion usage that's not opening up a dungeon in this game. All right, so
yeah,
Ace.
me too. I wanted to waste magic while we're walking along the side of a pit.
Yeah. Ace, remembering that he still needed a key in order to get to Moldrum 2, so he opted to take, I think that's the faster one? Is that correct? Out of the 3? Or out of the 2 remaining ones up in Upper GT to get the key? Versus like the one on the mini Helma?
Yeah. And nice Moldrum 2 fight from Ace. We saw an interesting, the Tempered Sword makes for an interesting and quick fight oftentimes. Ace was able to spin and bounce off the head into the tail to deal damage. That was quite nice. All right, Aga 2 for Ace. One of the hardest boss fights to learn. to learn to do well. It's a cycle-based fight, and to get 2 or 3 cycles is one of the most difficult things to do in this game consistently.
Yeah, a
So-
2-cycle, I think so 2-cycle you definitely need some luck as well, right? Because I think it's not always
there's
possible.
only a half chance it's even possible. And
I-
nice 4 cycle, I believe.
I think it was
sure.
4, yeah.
Yeah, it did seemed in control. Everything seemed to go pretty well, according to plan.
Yeah, as much as you can plan this fight.
Yeah. And Liam's first 2 phases are pretty good as well. Yeah, 3 cycle.
Wow, yeah, that's
nice.
that was a really nice double there on the end. It didn't actually look very possible from that pattern, but I'm really glad that he nailed it in the end.
Mm-hmm. And AceZero's in the Ganon fight. We're seeing Ganon phase 2 already. 12 slashes on each phase. And nice phase 2. Ganon's now in phase 3. He's warping. This phase is all RNG based. And there may be a slight difference in the player's RNG here. Warps are especially frustrating when going for PB attempts, because each warp is about 3 seconds lost. So now we need to use Torch Glitch, and there we go. A lamp Torch Glitch for Ace. And now he just needs to do 12 spins to finish the fight here. Liam needs to be careful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Oh man, so both runners ended up coming into Ganon's fight. Oh no, with 10 hearts, which hopefully was gonna be enough health. Unfortunately, it's 1 heart too few. So yeah, fire bats do 2 hearts damage. Oh man, that's rough. Unfortunately for Liam. Meanwhile, though, looks like Ace successfully managed to make all 12 Silver Sword Spins hit, so he is just going to wait through this fanfare, and then he will actually claim first place in this race versus Liam Atlas today. So get your GGs out in chat for Ace, finishing with, hey, a sub 130. Is this a... Oh, almost a PB! 129.34. Looks like at least recorded PB for Ace is 129.34. Oh, we did finish with a 120.42.
Great run. And
this is really great for Ace, right? I mean, he had I think an overworld mishap. Where that's right, he ended up getting crabbed and Ropa right before Ice Palace. He mirrored out early before getting the big key for in Palace of Darkness, but he really just managed to keep everything together and put together a really solid run and finish.
Yeah, that sums it up, I think. Really nice to see very nice to see a race run that is very close to a PB time. And we're seeing Liam finish up on Ganon here. We saw similar phase 2 RNGs for Liam and Ace. We saw dash strats for Liam and sort of inner circle strat. And we saw a different... Very nice to see a race run. Different strat for Ace. All right. And GG's to Liam Atlas.
Yeah,
Liam
definitely
finishes with 131.36.
Almost about a 2-minute difference. Yeah, definitely GG's to both runners. So speaking of which, we have the winner of today's race here with us. GG's, Ace.
Thanks. GG to Liam as well. I'm glad it was close the whole way through.
Yeah, were you watching were you watching his stream at all, or the restream?
For the most part, so I didn't have it up until I pulled it up during the Aga Tower cutscene at the end on the pyramid. So I don't know what happened there, and I peeked in a couple more times, like after pod. I figured I would have lost enough time to be like way behind, but I saw that I wasn't, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna focus. And I didn't pull it back up until like Swamp, and then I was like, okay, I still have a chance, and I kept looking every cutscene from then on to see, and I'm not sure what he lost time on per se, but I saw that it was really close pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah, you guys were synced. Yeah, pretty much the entire race, even going to GT, it was very, very similar. So I mean, it looks like I don't think anything spectacularly went wrong for Liam. I think it was just lots of like little things, and as you probably know,
I would agree.
Yeah.
Minor time losses.
Yeah, as you probably know, movement is pretty important in this game. So.
Yeah, I'm guessing he must have had a lot, because I know I felt really bad about the run, and like his PB is better than mine. Overall, he's just better. Like he put up better times in the group stage than I did. So I'm kind of surprised that I won this one, but if he did the same thing as me and made a lot of little mistakes, it for sure adds up. I agree.
Yeah,
sorry, what were you saying, Jax?
We saw the paths diverged in the collection routes, and I believe you had a 1 cycle Vitrious, right?
Yeah, I got 1 lightning phase.
Yeah, and Liam had a few more, and so we were really starting to see you come ahead there, and Liam had to get Ice Rod, I believe. Oh wait, am I misremembering that? I don't want to speak out of hand here.
I know he got Ether before me, so that would make sense, because I saw how much it looked like I pulled ahead for no reason after Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And my Swamp wasn't that good. It was pretty good for me, but not enough to pull ahead like that. So that I know he got Ether there.
Yeah, and how did you feel about that Ice overworld?
Oh man, I'm so mad. So I think that I know people have talked about like how to not get lotteried by that Ropa, and like there might be ways to do it. And I've had so many runs in a row I've not got lotteried. What I always do is I dash into the first Ropa, and then I'll like nudge on the tree a little bit, and I never get hit by it the second one. But this is 2 runs in a row now, actually, where I've grabbed the tree by mistake, and then he's in a different position, and I get hit by him. So I was so mad that I did that, and then of course I don't really have a lot of practice at like the backup strats, trying to gather hearts. I had awful luck. I lost the 4, 5 50-50s between the crab, the rock, the bush.
Yep. Yeah, I saw the first 2, and I saw the combat. It
was rough.
The same thing would have happened to anyone. I mean, it's hard to recover hearts. You go for a heart and you lose 2.
Luckily the dungeon was really good overall.
Yeah.
With the exception of Cold Stare was a little bit off. I think there was one other thing somewhere that I messed up, but obviously I couldn't do the sword beam strats in the conveyor room to make that nice and easy. But I was actually okay with all the end game. Pretty much from once I got into Ice Palace through the end of the game, I felt really good. And I played really well. Even the splits I lost time on weren't too bad. My Turtle Rock, the Pokey one, was awful. But
yeah, both of you struggled with that a little bit.
Yeah, and in Pod, I actually that's the thing I was most upset about in the run. The mirror in Pod. I'm sure you saw that.
Yep.
Before grabbing the big key.
You know why that occurred?
So actually, it was the 3rd time that I in the run, the 2nd in a row, where I tried to grab the chest, but I was 1 pixel away from the chest, so I just picked up dust and didn't open it. And of course, my habit is to hit the A button to open the chest and immediately just mash LR and Y.
I see what you're saying.
That
Okay.
cleared out. Yeah, I was 1 pixel too low, so I didn't touch the chest.
Yeah, and of course in this game, opening chests is secret tech.
I guess.
No one knows how to do it.
I did see quite a few chest turns on your side, though.
Yeah, I got the one in Aga Tower. There's only like 2 that I actually like ever tried to do. The Sea House and then the second chest in Aga Tower. I always like try for those. I got the Fence Dash too on Restream, so
Yeah,
blessed
yeah,
run.
that's right.
I attribute the win just to that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm glad it was a good race, and good luck to Liam going forward in the losers bracket. I think he'll do well. In at least the first couple matches before it gets crazy difficult again.
And how do you feel going forward in the bracket?
I mean, I'm glad to make it this far. I picked myself in my bracket to win 1 more match, but I thought I was the underdog against Liam and again against Misanthropic Buddha. I think it's an outside shot, but I think I have a chance. I have to play better than this, I think, because I got lucky that Liam had some struggles today as well. But I think I could win 1 more maybe in winners bracket, or if I lose, maybe win 1 more in losers. But I'm happy with how the tournament's gone so far.
You just have to make it to 2 more rounds before you can play checks.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be rusty
myself losing
at that
before
point.
that for sure.
I'm sorry?
I said I picked myself losing before that for sure, but even if I get there, that's not a match I'm gonna win.
Anything could happen. It's a fun tournament, and we've seen close races every time. I mean, not every time, but we're seeing so many close races. It's really been exciting to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is my I think this is my 4th race that's been less than a minute. So they've been very close.
Yeah, I mean, and Chucks and I were talking earlier. Basically, like you've described, a lot of mishaps that have happened, in this race, right? You mirrored out early from pod. You had a pretty bad pre-Ice Palace overworld, really through no fault of your own. But you were basically managed to, to keep your head in the game and just not let it distract you, from basically playing the rest of the game. Your end game was, what was good, right? It definitely really showed.
Yeah, I'm glad, and I'm definitely getting more consistent with the run overall, that I have fewer disasters scattered throughout as I've been playing more. And
just make sure you don't press A and Y in the same frame when you're going for a big key chest or any chest. I'm pretty sure that soft locks you. Unable to leave.
Yeah.
I think what it does is it mirrors Link to the beginning and freezes Link in place. Anyway, that's just side thought I had. It could always go worse in this game, is what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I did get blessed in Turtle Rock as well with the double fairy drop. I think the run wanted me to
yeah,
succeed in spite of my mistakes. I can't believe I got 2 fairies.
Yeah, I didn't see it start to loop around and double pokies, or pokies too. So yeah, that was quite nice.
And it turns out you didn't even need the second fairy. You didn't even get hit in Trinex. Why did you just waste that fairy? You didn't even need it at that point. Should have just taken a couple hits for good measure.
I'm sure if I didn't have it, I would have taken a hit or 2. There would have been more pressure. But yeah, thanks for the comms. I might watch this back and see what you guys had to say about the race. Any criticisms or anything that was exciting to see. But yeah, I appreciate it. Appreciate the restream and everything, and glad it was a good race.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
good luck going forward.
Thanks. Same to you.
Yeah, so any more last words or anything? Cool.
That's all for me. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
unless Clear Mouse has anything. Thanks for putting on this stream for us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
My pleasure. All right. So, GG's again to AceZero and Liam Atlas. Thanks for comms, Chex Human, Clear Mouse. You guys did a fantastic job. So, real grateful for a super close race and really entertaining commentary. So, thank you guys. Today, the only thing left on the schedule we've got is the Twilight Princess any % match. We're actually going to be raiding Zelda speedruns, so I'm going to go ahead and send that raid now. Or start the raid. We'll send it in a minute. But tomorrow we've got a boatload of events. Several Ocarina of Time Randomizer events. Majora's Mask Weekly, Skyward Sword Randomizer tournament match. Z2R tournament match. Another NMG tournament match. So, yeah, plenty of things on Saturday from 10 a.m. Eastern all the way until 10 p.m. Eastern. So, events ranging in there. So, if you guys want to tune in, that's what we have for you. So, yeah, thanks again, and see you guys later.